Rain lashed down, cold and relentless. The wind howled like a hungry wolf. In the doorway of the orphanage, a basket lay forgotten, hidden from view. Inside, a baby boy slept, unaware of the note tucked beside him. He did not yet know the meaning of the word different, the word that had sealed his fate. The matron found him at daybreak, a tiny fist clutching a worn teddy bear. His eyes, when they opened, were the color of melted chocolate, wide and innocent. The matron sighed, her heart heavy. She had seen too many lost children, abandoned for simply being who they were. Weeks turned into months, months into years. The boy named Leo grew tall and strong. He was a quiet child with a gentle smile and eyes that held a wisdom beyond his years. He loved reading more than anything, escaping into worlds where being different was celebrated, not shunned. But every night, as he lay in his narrow bed, Leo would clutch his teddy bear and imagine the family he had never known. He yearned for a place to belong, a love that ran deeper than the flimsy walls of the orphanage. Amelia lived alone, her days as predictable as the sunrise. She volunteered at the local library, surrounding herself with the comfort of stories. She had loved and lost, her heart still tender from the absence of her husband and the child they never had. One blustery afternoon, Amelia's gaze fell upon a newspaper article. A picture showed a young boy with soulful eyes, his head bent over a book. The headline read, "Orphanage overcrowded, funds low." Something stirred within Amelia, a flicker of hope she thought long extinguished. That evening, Amelia found herself drawn to the orphanage on the edge of town. The building loomed, cold and imposing, but a single light shone brightly from an upstairs window. Taking a deep breath, Amelia knocked on the heavy oak door. The matron greeted her with weary eyes. "We don't get many visitors," she said, ushering Amelia inside, "especially not those interested in older children." Amelia's heart ached. She knew then that she had found what she had been searching for, even if she hadn't known she was searching at all. Meeting Leo was like watching the sunrise after a long, dark night. He was shy at first, his eyes darting nervously around Amelia's face. But as she spoke, her voice soft and reassuring, a hesitant smile spread across his face. "Do you like stories?" Amelia asked, holding out a book of fairy tales. Leo's eyes widened. He nodded eagerly, his fingers tracing the worn spine of the book. In that shared love of stories, a bond began to form, fragile yet unbreakable. The days that followed were a whirlwind of paperwork and adjustments. Leo moved into Amelia's cozy cottage, his few possessions tucked into an old suitcase. He explored the garden, marveling at the blooming roses and the tiny birds that flitted amongst the branches. Amelia watched him blossom, her heart overflowing with love. She taught him to bake bread, the scent of yeast and warmth filling their small kitchen. They read together every night, their laughter echoing through the house. Leo had found his home, and Amelia had found a piece of her heart she thought she had lost forever. With Amelia by his side, Leo flourished. He excelled in school, his thirst for knowledge insatiable. He discovered a passion for painting, his canvases bursting with color and life. Amelia framed each one, her heart swelling with pride. The whispers and stares from the townspeople lessened, replaced with nods of approval and kind smiles. Leo, once an outcast, was now embraced by the community. He made friends, their laughter echoing through the park as they played until dusk. Amelia saw her own happiness reflected in Leo's eyes. He was no longer the timid boy who had arrived on her doorstep. He was confident, kind, and full of life. He was everything she could have wished for and more. Time, like a river, flowed steadily onward. The seasons changed, painting the trees with vibrant hues of gold and crimson. Leo grew into a fine young man, his laughter still echoing through the cottage, but his voice now deep and resonant. Amelia, her hair now streaked with silver, watched him with a bittersweet ache in her heart. She knew that time was a precious gift, one that was not infinite. She had tried to prepare herself for the day she would have to say goodbye, but nothing could truly prepare her for the thought of leaving Leo. Then, one cold winter's night, the inevitable happened. Amelia fell ill, her frail body succumbing to the passage of time. Leo sat by her bedside, his hand holding hers, his heart breaking with every labored breath she took. "My darling boy," Amelia whispered, her voice weak but filled with love. "Don't you ever forget how much you are loved. Live your life to the fullest and never let anyone dull your sparkle." With a final shuddering breath, Amelia closed her eyes, her journey in this life complete. Leo was devastated by Amelia's death. He felt lost, adrift in a sea of grief. The cottage, once filled with laughter and warmth, now felt unbearably empty. He moved through the days in a daze, the world a blur of muted colors. As he began the daunting task of sorting through Amelia's belongings, Leo stumbled upon a box he had never seen before. Inside, nestled amongst yellowed photographs and faded letters, lay a small, leather-bound diary. Curious, Leo opened it, his fingers tracing Amelia's elegant handwriting. The diary chronicled Amelia's life, her joys, her sorrows, and her decision to adopt a young boy with eyes as dark as chocolate. As Leo read, his own life unfolded before him through his mother's words. He learned of her unwavering love, her fierce protection, and the secret she had kept hidden for so long. The final entry, written in a shaky hand, revealed the truth about Leo's past. Amelia had discovered documents revealing the existence of his biological family. They had not abandoned him out of cruelty, but out of fear. They were wealthy, powerful, and terrified of how their world would react to their different son. News of Amelia's death and the substantial inheritance she had left to her adopted son spread like wildfire. Leo, still reeling from his grief, was bombarded with condolences from distant relatives he had never met. They descended upon the cottage, their faces a mixture of feigned sympathy and barely concealed greed. Then, one day, a sleek black car arrived at the cottage gate. Two figures emerged, their faces etched with a mixture of apprehension and expectation. Leo recognized them instantly from the faded photograph tucked inside Amelia's diary. His biological parents had come for him. Their reunion was awkward, filled with stilted conversation and forced smiles. Leo learned that his parents' fear had subsided over the years, replaced with a longing for the son they had given away. But Leo couldn't shake the feeling that their sudden reappearance had more to do with his inheritance than any genuine affection. His suspicions were confirmed when his parents suggested he move back with them to their grand estate. They spoke of providing him with opportunities, of introducing him to a world of privilege and luxury. But their words rang hollow to Leo's ears. He saw the calculating glint in their eyes, the unspoken expectation that he would share his newfound wealth with the family who had abandoned him. Leo was faced with a choice: succumb to the pressure and the allure of wealth, or stay true to the values Amelia had instilled in him. He thought of the countless hours he had spent with Amelia, reading by the fire, sharing stories and laughing until their sides ached. He thought of the love that had surrounded him, the love that had nothing to do with money or social standing. Standing tall, Leo looked his biological parents in the eye. "I appreciate your offer," he said, his voice firm despite the turmoil within him. "But this cottage, this town, is my home. The only family I know is the one who chose me, who loved me unconditionally." Leo's parents were taken aback by his defiance. They had underestimated the strength of the bond he shared with Amelia, the values she had instilled in him. They pleaded with him, argued, and even resorted to threats. But Leo stood his ground. He would honor Amelia's memory and his own truth. The road ahead was not easy. Leo faced legal challenges, his biological family determined to claim their perceived due. But with the help of Amelia's lawyer, a kind woman who had known Leo since he was a boy, he fought back. He presented his case, his voice filled with quiet dignity, as he spoke of the only mother he had ever known. In the end, justice prevailed. The court recognized Amelia's will, her love for Leo transcending the ties of blood. Leo was free to live his life on his own terms, surrounded by the memories of the woman who had given him the greatest gift of all, unconditional love and a place to belong. Leo never forgot Amelia. He kept her memory alive in his heart, in the stories he told, and in the kindness he showed to others. He used his inheritance to fulfill Amelia's dream of opening a library in her name, a place where children of all backgrounds could discover the magic of stories and the power of love. And so the boy who had been abandoned, deemed different and unworthy, found his happily ever after, not in a fairy tale castle, but in the enduring love of the woman who had chosen him, and in the quiet strength he found within himself.